we had gone to Florida, and we got a call from Jamie in Haiti, and she said, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yes," told her where we were. Then Brian got on, and he told us that they had received a call that Ben had been killed. I can remember now standing at the airport, 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday night, and the airplane flew in, and all the Marines at attention, and they unloaded his casket out of the airplane. And on the way from Indianapolis up to Elwood, an hour's drive, every intersection was closed with a police officer, and they were out saluting. Such an honor that they, and respect that they gave to one of their own. Ben was our oldest grandson. We have 9 grandchildren. He was one of our 9, but he was the oldest, and we spent a lot of time with him, so we've got lots of memories. Russell has some when he was little.
When Ben was 4 years old, he said, "Grandpa, how long would it take me saving pop cans to make $1 million?" I said, "Ben, if you start saving them, I'll start saving them too." And every time we got $25 worth, we'd get a savings bond. And when he come here, just before he went to Marines, he didn't have any money to go home with. We cashed the bonds in early, and he had $200. When he was 4 years old, or just a baby, younger than that, I used to take him on deliveries when I deliver flowers at the flower shop and play with him in his playpen, and I had a lot of fun with him, never forget it.
When Ben was around 19, he was wanting to go to police academy and be a police officer. John Budensick in Hobe Sound, Florida is a police officer, and Ben would go with him. And then Ben was doing some undercover work out into Lake Okeechobee, even before he'd ever gone to the Marines. Because of his undercover, they arrested 42 guys that had been in drugs. He would go out to Lake Okeechobee, and we didn't know this till on our way to the airport to pick up his body. John Budensick said they never suspected he was working with the police. He'd go out there with that boa constrictor around his neck and have his hat on backwards, and he just had a button microphone. He'd be riding the bike and speaking Creole. And later he told Grandpa about this, and Grandpa said, "Ben, where do these guys live?" And we saw pictures of them, and they're right there in Hobe Sound, Stewart. And he said, "You're safer in the Marines than you are in Lake Okeechobee, Florida." So he had done undercover. He was trying to finish up, trying to go back and forth to police academy, and then he joined the Marines, and he had gone to Haiti during the earthquake. He received a medal he would interpret for doctors and nurses on the ship Baton, and then he did undercover. But then all his platoon had gone to Afghanistan, and he had been left behind, so he requested to go. And then he went to Afghanistan, and he was a squad leader there. And at the time of his service, many of his comrades said, "We felt safe when Ben was in the loft," which meant he was up behind them, and he was looking out after them. So he was doing what he loved doing. Ben was a special grandson, just like any of our grandchildren are to us. I'll miss his calls. I still have one on the phone that I keep having to push to save. So I have that message that I can keep listening to with him talking to me.
Hey, Grandma, Ben. Just calling you back. Thanks for wishing me a happy birthday and Valentine's Day. I haven't been able to talk much. I'm up here in the mountains in California. I don't get good service only when I come down to town. So I figured I'd give you a call, see how you all doing. But all right, I'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Bye.
If he was here, I'd say, "What's heaven like?" Because I know he was an adventurous boy, and the last time we talked to him, he was going to go rock climbing in Yosemite National Park. And on the Sunday before he died, he talked to John Budensick, his good friend, and he said, John, I about killed myself today. And he said, Ben, what did you do? And he said, well, we were rock climbing up a 50-foot surface of the rock in Yosemite. And he said, did you have a rope? No, but I got a certain height up there and I couldn't get back down. So what'd you do? Well, I jumped and grabbed on. And he said, oh, Ben, I hope you was praying. He said, I was. So he was doing what he loved doing. He was a very adventurous boy.
One of the questions I'd like to ask Bennett is here. Aren't you glad you turned your life over to Christ?
I'm so glad that we were able to talk to him on Friday, and that his parents were able to talk to him on Saturday and ask him how it was with how he was spiritually. And that's when he told them, Dad, everything's all right between me and my Savior. And that's the greatest hope we have. That means everything to us, to know that he's in heaven.
I think Ben would like to be remembered that he gave his life to Christ. He's now in heaven.
I think Ben would like to be remembered not only that even though he had some rough times growing up and some hard times and trying to figure out was the Christian way the right way, I think he really would like to be remembered that he got that sorted out.
Since Ben made it to heaven, heavens seem more real.
I agree with Russell. I want to make sure that we make it to heaven. All our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. That's our ultimate goal, and even though we miss them, I say, I've got one home, and that's the ultimate goal. Our life here is so short, we've got to make it home.
He made it to heaven. I guess something that's hard for me is to wonder what really happened to him.
Later, when Jamie and Brian went out to Lake Tahoe, went out to Bridgeport, to Picknell, where the base was, the colonel and the major said, we'll really miss Ben. He gave his life for thousands. They wouldn't there was a closed casket. We were not even allowed to open the casket. And so there's a lot of questions, but we just leave it in the Lord's hands, because no matter what happened, we have the assurance that he's in heaven. I love you all very much. I just want you to know I made it. Mom, don't wonder where I went. I gave my life for my country, family, and friends. Dad, don't worry about where I went or what you could have done different. You both did a great job raising me. I want you all to know I love you very much. I'm sorry I missed out on a lot at home, and I gave you a hard time growing up, Dad, Mom, Jess, and Brooke. I love you, Ben. He was a courageous boy, and he loved his country, and he loved his family, and I think he'd want to be remembered that he gave his life for his country.